everybody.
It's Dora.
Oh my gosh. If only you guys knew what we were talking about before we clicked.
No. I don't need to know that.
Anyway, this week's episode is about faith, money, and spirituality.
Woohoo!
And I just have a couple of questions to pose before we really get into this episode. I suppose it's a good starting point. Right. Okay. Guys, why does faith and finances often go hand in hand in African societies? Number one. Right. And also, why is it that religious institutions thrive in low-income communities? First of all, is it true that religious institutions thrive in low-income communities?
Yes.
Why?
Colonization. What? I agree with Kudam.
Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
I can't see why you're confused.
Yeah.
Colonization. The whites came and they said, here is a new religion. And if you follow this religion, you too can be like us. And that is the man.
Like us, be white.
No, like you
Like
can also
pray
be
hard enough
successful.
and you'll be white.
Pray, not white, you know. It's not white. Pray, right? And you know, you will be free and you will be successful and you know, you will make it. That's what colonization did for us. And then instead, it then also shackled us because then it kept us giving the white people money. Because now we're tithing and they're using it for their own benefit. And then they say, harvest, bring all that you have given. And then they also say, sacrifice. Each time, you just keep giving the whites more and more and more. And in the hopes that the more you do it, the more successful you will become. Yet, the more you did it, the less you had. That's what I mean.
So what I'm getting from this is that people are desperate.
Yes.
Desperate for some kind of financial breakthrough.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
I agree with Koda in the sense that when that concept of tithing, please forgive me, Christians. I honestly don't get that concept of tithing, especially when you're someone who doesn't have. Just being told, okay, that $10 that you make sure you give something, right? And then when you do give something, I've been to churches where this happens, where people give and then it's made to seem like that's not enough. But that's what you have. You'll be like, okay, this is for bread, this is for whatever, and this I'm going to give to the church. But then it seems like it's not enough. And then I'm just wondering, like, then what are you doing it for? It must be for the elders to continue in their prosperity.
I think it's a slippery slope. And for me, just riding on what Anesu just said, it's more of a bastardization of something that makes sense in essence. Because when you think of tithe and the concept of giving, I think in Christianity it's rooted in a sense of abundance, where you really trust in God for provision. But when I say there's bastardization, it's now this culture of mega churches and especially these people-led churches with the mums and dads.
Papa, Mama.
It becomes more of a pressure to pump money into the church, because you'll find that now it's very linked to certain material things and like very specific outcomes to say we want to build a church or we want to do this, so let us be the ones to do it in monetary terms. And normally it's taken from people who are really giving their last, they're giving their all.
I totally agree with you, Amanda. I think that the premise of giving in Christianity was give and it will come back to you.
Good measure.
Good measure. And that song. You all know that song.
Hey there, lovely listeners. So listen, running a podcast in Zimbabwe is quite the journey. It requires resources. And when I say resources, I mean money, time, and effort. Wondering how you can support us? Well, we've got you covered with InnBucks. Or World Remit if you're on the other side of the world and you'd love to contribute. Our InnBucks number is 077-810-3171. Whether it's the cost of a cup of coffee or a virtual high five, every little bit of your support counts. Remember, supporting our podcast isn't about funding our caffeine addiction, though it is in part, but your support keeps our podcast alive and thriving and helps us create more content, ensuring that our laughter echoes through your devices. Thanks again for being part of our community and for listening.
But as Amanda has previously said, that it has been taken advantage of by people who are preying on those of us who don't have and are desperately seeking for something, success, houses, cars, marriages, So people then tend to manipulate, well, by people I mean the papas, then tend to manipulate those of us in low-income communities.
Okay,
What?
Can I say something?
taking it back to the colonization chat.
Uh-huh.
If we look at Orthodox churches versus New Age, the whites are gone.
The whites are gone.
The whites are gone.
So can we still say it's that?
Yes.
I don't know.
Here's why. I think they have left something that has been, they have taught us the principles of how to oppress. And we are just taking, we've just taken over. Similarly with government. The whites are gone. But can we say we are free? I don't know. But it's that we've learned the principles. We've seen the blueprint and how it worked for the whites, and now we've just replicated it. But I wanted to say something slightly controversial. As a Christian girlie myself, I will tithe until I die. I will give to the church until I die. My very last, if it is that. Right. Now, I think sometimes people get taken advantage of because they, don't actually read the Bible themselves. So you don't actually understand the principles behind what we're doing, why you're giving, why you are tithing or seeding, whatever, right? And so it is easy to manipulate someone who is, for lack of a better word, ignorant, all right? We are a Christian nation, we all go to church, but does that mean everyone is spiritual? I think we're very religious. I don't think we are. A lot are spiritual. So I think the things that you're looking for Papa to give you are things that you should ordinarily have or get yourself by your own spiritual journey. but we depend on somebody else to pray for us, somebody else to, promise us prosperity, right? And then we hang on to that person. That's where you have a lot of people who jump churches, right? You go to Makandiva's church today because he's giving out like water and oil and those dish towels he was giving out. Then
Dish towels.
he was giving out like giving towels, and then you rub it on something and then it will be yours. And then then you go to what's
sorcery. What is
That's
that?
witchcraft.
you see? And then you go to T.B. Joshua and he's promising something else. And then you go to, what's that guy with the healing school? Pastor Chris, he has a healing school. And, you keep jumping churches because you keep thinking that man is going to give you prosperity. And now you're not reading the Bible for yourself. You're not praying for yourself. You're not fasting for yourself, everything, because you're not doing it for yourself. And I do think that there is that desperation aspect of it. Yes, people are desperate for prosperity. Yes, people are desperate for marriage. Yes, people are desperate for just more and better. But when then we mix that with Christianity and spirituality, we then get lost in the sauce.
Yeah, and I also think with religion, it's tricky because it's sort of set up in a way where it's like you're shamed for questioning it. Like you can't actually ask questions because you can't even talk about the men of God because it's according to that's just taboo. So some of these things, even if you try and speak to Christians about it, they get very defensive. They're like, no, you're in the wrong because you're not even supposed to be questioning it. So I think that's what makes it a bit tricky.
But I think Kuda nailed it when she said that it's because people don't seek a relationship with God personally. It's almost as if though we're kind of waiting for this papa or mama or prophetess to pray for us and to, if we touch the hem of her garment, we will be healed, which is far from the truth.
Right.
And I feel like now some of the churches are, teetering on being cults a little bit. It's just not feeling, it's not feeling like we're here for God. It feels like we're here for Papa and Papa's pocket. That's just how I see it.
Because you know what I don't understand? You shouldn't suffer or go through things or be sick because you're Christian. And I'm like, if you read the Bible, actually read it. People were sick. People were going through things. Jesus himself said, you will go through many trials, right? So you can't turn around and say, oh, but you pray, but you're a Christian. So why are you going through this hard time? Why are you sick? There wouldn't be a need for Jehovah to be Jehovah Rapha, the healer, if people weren't going to get sick. Otherwise, what's the point? But you gotta read it for yourself, man. I don't know how else to explain it, but you have to read it for yourself because now definitely they are preying on people and
With an E.
With the what?
With an E.
With the
Not praying.
yes,
praying.
with an E. They are preying on people who are desperate, who don't have. And that's really, really sad. For me, that's really, really sad. Those churches, oh my God. Those churches that have, when Amma was speaking, I remember these churches. Not only are they the papas and the mamas, they're those churches that have hierarchies. You have platinum members, gold members, silver members, You have those churches where the pastor will only visit your house if you've given 10,000. And I'm like, what is going on? But that's what I'm saying. I think we are just taking they're taking advantage. Now you have a really sick person in your home. You really want the pastor to come to your house. You're going to sell your car. You're going to sell furniture to make 10,000 for him to come pray for you. What are we doing?
Yeah, that's wild. Anesu said something before we started recording about religion being the opium of the masses, right? And basically, I suppose what opium of the masses is in this case is where if you come from, particularly in Zimbabwe, where there's no economic stability, the healthcare is in the pits, then religion becomes like a coping mechanism, right? Mm-hmm. It becomes a source of a hope, rather. And so now, I mean, it's even trickled down to things like, for example, marriage. Because in African communities, marriage is seen as like a way out, right? A way out of poverty. And it's given a lot of pressure to women to be like, yo, I need to get married, get out of the situation that I'm in. Or even just the fact that like singleness is seen as a failure in a sense, like spiritual failure, like you're not gonna get blessed because you're single. You need to get married so that you can be blessed with material things, blah blah blah. And I think that's also spurred on the beginning of these like all-night vigils for marriage and these events. I've seen one on X that they called Dadinua, where it was like an entire stadium. I don't know where it was exactly, but it was like an entire stadium full of single women praying in the dust for marriage.
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Why is it in the dust?
That's what I saw. Those are the pictures. They were legit in the dust. I mean, I'm not laughing at that. Like, it's actually sad.
Okay, you brought up something that I was thinking to say that, especially in our context in Zim, is it really strictly a poverty-based thing? Because I think it tends to be quite strong and prominent in the middle class more than anything. Because even like what Kuda was saying, where it's like you need to be giving 10K to have a certain status, you'll find that there's a certain elite and middle class community that is sort of in the forefront of things like this, and that's where the hierarchies come in, because it's not the poorest of the poor who tend to make it to church leadership or to these other positions that are, then upheld. So what is it then?
Is it the stigma of being unmarried that makes you desperate? And now I don't know if I can explain this more, but you are a woman of a certain age, your mind was, I guess society, I don't know, social media tells you you should be married by now. Now you're looking at, say you're 33, 34, and you're not. And you are feeling, I guess, unfulfilled, or like you should, like this is what you should be doing. And I know that worse in our African culture, it then gets turned into some generational curse, some waroiwa situation, some, there's a spirit that is
Hovering
over you, and then obviously now you get told that, and then you get scared, and then you now go to these things because you're seeking for freedom or some kind of release that the spiritual husband of it or whatever goes away.
Actually, I'm sorry, but I'm just thinking how religion has been used to kind of shackle us in a way. Like, anything, you've got a spiritual husband. Oh, you've got a demon. Hey, like, I feel like, no, it was so random. No, nobody told me, but like, I've just heard these things being thrown around at people. Like, for example, if you've just gone down a destructive path, people start saying, oh, they've got a demon, they're possessed, they have spiritual husbands. It's like, it's almost like religion is also like a weapon. It's been weaponized against us, particularly women. Like, you're not married. It's because maybe you have a spiritual husband. Are you having dreams of a man? You know, like, sheesh. I feel like in the Bible, there are women who were not married.
Yeah.
It actually, I guess it goes back to what Kuda was saying. Like, are you reading the Bible and like, are you understanding it? Because just with marriage is not something for everyone. And I think that's where we get it wrong from the beginning. Marriage is not for every individual to have, unfortunately. It even says in the Bible, if you see you cannot do this marriage thing, you would rather be single. You would rather be alone, because it's not an easy thing. It's not something that it just comes from wherever your papa or your mama has prayed, and now you suddenly have a husband or a wife and they've gotten rid of the demons. You still need to work on it. So if it's not coming to you, there must be a reason. There must be something that you need to do in order for you to get it. Or it might not even it's not your path. Leave it alone. It's not for you. And I guess that's the problem, because in our society, the example, the blueprint is that you should be married, you should have kids. And unfortunately, that's not where we are as like people in this society. There's so many divorces. You're not supposed to divorce, but look at all the divorces going on. Like, people are not matching properly. You're not yoked equally, and then you expect these things to just work out. So I don't know. Guys, so much pressure. The pressure is real.
It's getting worse.
It's getting worse. But I understand. At the same time, I get why people then turn to prayer, because you're like, what is going on in my life? I'm now 28. I'm now 28. I have no husband.
No prospects.
No prospects. And your family doesn't make it any easier. I think we've discussed this like at length in season 1. We've discussed this 2 and 3. Guys, the pressure is so real. But once you seeing how the world is going, you do then turn to what you know, which is God, right? People are saying, pray about it, pray about it, pray about it. And then you're like, oh, I can pray about it with like 1,000 women at an all-night prayer. Let's go pray about it. But then at the same time, when does your praying and your like spiritual journey turn into, I am going somewhere for, how do I explain it? When does it become like a cult? There's like it's a fine line, but at the same time, you need to be able to see that, hey, guys, now this is the cult. Papa or mama is now asking me for money. Papa and mama is now asking us to do things that are not in the Bible.
I think Kuda nailed it. I think the line is where you find yourself substituting your own thinking, your own path, your own understanding for what you're being told. What you're being told you're supposed to feel, what you're being told is happening to you. Because if you do go into the Bible, you realize that, you know, the Holy Spirit is for everybody. You have that direct connection to the answers. You have that direct connection to seeking and finding. But the moment you are convinced that you don't have that ability or that power within you to complete the cycle, that's where the line is crossed, because now you're being told, and it's funny because it's never the mamas and the papas who tell you that you need to give or you need to do all these things. It's like a network of things that puts you in a situation where you don't realize it, but you're now so consumed by a certain culture and a way of doing things, and you substitute that instead of having your own experience. So, it's tricky.
I saw a tweet about mega churches and how they've become like sort of like a big part of this problem. And as you guys were talking, I was thinking about like I think it's Anis who was talking about like women can decide not to even get married, and it actually made me think that I think definitely socio-economic factors definitely factor in, because I don't think if you're part of a certain class, that's not even an option. You can't even begin to imagine not being married, just because of the way, because nurture and nature, like is it nurture v nature or something like that. Yeah. Nurture actually, like, it's a big factor. So if you're in a community where like marriage is like the standard thing, like you are completely shunned if you don't get married, I think there's a conversation there, because I think someone who's in, maybe to be specific, maybe if you're in a Borrowdale, right, you can choose to be like, yo, in most cases, you know, I know it differs from case to case, but you can choose to be like, no, I'm not going to get married, you know, I'm going to do my own thing, because most likely you're independent, most likely you don't actually need, you know, a partner, or you don't feel the need to have a partner to get what you need done. But if we go to somewhere like maybe Epworth or somewhere like that, I don't think women there can actually often choose not to get married unless...
I don't think even the Borrowdale hands are there. Yeah. Because, you know, you just reminded me of when we went live on Instagram and we had a conversation with some of our listeners. It was lit. Shout out to those guys. But funny enough, we ended up in this space where it was about 2 of our listeners who are born into like church leadership type of families, and these are like, you know, middle class, well-to-do people, probably Borrowdale or, you know, whatever that represents, but they're inside the system, you know, that, and they're talking about the experiences where you like even get to a point where you're so distant from the church and whatever, just because of certain things that are happening in the home, certain appearances, certain pressures that are just there. You can literally have a degree, a job, are able to take care of yourself, but that even becomes worse when you're able to stand for yourself and say, I'm single. Some people will even be telling you, I know I have an aunt where they're saying all those things are the things that are chasing away men. Yeah. Because you have your own house, you have your own car. Which man is going to want to come? Legit. Which man is going to want to come into that situation? So that's why I'm having trouble, because with us, it's going beyond poverty. Yeah. It's not just a thing. It's like, no matter how well-to-do you are, you're sort of trapped in this way of life as long as you are a single woman. No one wants to see you thrive because that goes against the narrative. Yeah. But at the same time, you're trapped.
Can I tell you? Sorry.
Keep going.
Yeah, just like to comment on Six's insights. I think also this perception that if you get married, you then get all the riches or prosperity, whatever. I don't think Zimbabwean women are there anymore, to be honest. Yeah. I think it's something that was there when maybe our mothers or even our grandmothers. But as time has gone by, women are realizing sometimes it's okay to be single because the guy you're rushing to marry isn't going to jack you up in any way. You're not going to get that prosperity. You might find yourself being the breadwinner, being the provider in that family. So I don't think it's that. Maybe back in the day, yes, when women were property and property moved from your father to your husband and all of that. But I don't think that's it anymore. I don't think you get married to say, let me get here with this person so that we can flourish financially. I think it's more pressure from the African society, which is also just like a big mesh up with Christianity at this point. And it's more of, why are you not married? Are you trying to be an immoral woman? Find yourself a husband.
I wanted to say that getting married is not hard. I think that anyone can get married. I also think anyone you can go out in the road and say, I'm unmarried. Does someone want to marry me? You'll find a few yes men, right? Now the question is, who are you marrying, right? And I think, to Amanda's point, particularly women, now that we are more independent, more educated, you don't want to just marry anybody who says, I want to marry you. You know? That's what I'm saying. Listen, you can go to a club right now and say, some married man will come and say, baby, I want to marry you. You can say, yeah, marry me because I want to be married, right? But is that the quality of life you want? Is that the type of life you want? No. So what is more difficult is not marriage itself. It's finding someone, you're equally yoked to, of like mind, someone who won't pull you down, someone who you actually want to spend the rest of your life with and not get divorced in 2-3 years, someone who you can build a life with and actually in partnership with, right? And that's what's harder to find. Marriage in itself, if you just want to be married, you can be married. But I think the struggle is finding the right person to marry, and which is why I think it doesn't matter the economics of it, right? It really boils down to what kind of life you are trying to build for yourself, and can you do that with this person? Or are you better off going at it alone? Are you better off being a bit more patient, and then maybe at 38 that person somehow magically shows up? I don't know.
Then the church will say, oh, it's a miracle. You paid for this.
And just world order, right? World order is globally, women are getting married later. That's just statistically what is happening, all right? And I think now trying to push against all of that, to put pressure to say, but my mom was married at 18 and Gogo was married at 16, and 10 years ago my sister was married at 25, and I thought when I was 10 I would be married by 24, and then you actually put those numbers together. At 24 you were in uni. Calm down. You hadn't even graduated. Why did you and then you adjust, and then you say, okay, maybe by 30, and then 30 comes. If you're lucky, you're now only stabilizing in your career, or you're still in school and maybe you're PhD level, and you're still trying to figure it out. And if you keep wanting to hold on to the number and the age, the quality of the person that you are marrying, you will either be really unhappy or you will be divorced quickly. And then even then, now you want to get divorced, the church is going to turn around and say you can't.
And the irony of what you're saying, Kuda, is that premise is the most unchristian thing that you can do, because you're no longer submitting to God's will. You're purporting to plan your own life and steps and timelines, which is the opposite of what we're trying to achieve. And when Anesu was talking, I think the irony of what's actually happening in the secret society of the married right now.
As a member.
As a member.
As a member.
I don't know if I'm allowed to.
As a newly minted member.
But what's really happening right now is there is a pandemic of this shift in the economic dynamic within marriages, which is that you're finding that 9 times out of 10, women are becoming the breadwinners. Women are the ones who are actually bringing in more in financial terms to marriages, and men are struggling. And then what's happening is that the ideal dynamic or the role playing within marriages, which is that the man is the provider and the woman is the nurturer, has been disturbed. And 8 out of 10 couples are not surviving that. We're getting a lot of divorces on that basis. So you're being sold this marriage, which is supposed to be your economic ticket way out. Yet you're coming into the reality of it, which is that you've just joined with the person, right? Which is going back to the quality of the marriage. You've just joined with the person. You guys don't know what cards are going to be thrown at you. And right now, the global dynamic, like Kuda's saying, is that more women are educated, more women are stable, more women are tending to be the ones who are playing more of a provider role, and the men can't handle it. So now you're getting into marriage thinking you're coming out of or preventing a certain situation, but then you're being presented with the genuine challenge of what marriage is, like what Anisu was saying, that it's a path. It's like being born blonde or brunette. It's just one of those things. And if you treat it as an achievement or as a milestone, then you're in for a shocking surprise, because it's not, no marriage is going to be like any other marriage. So whatever it is that you're expecting is not likely to be what you're going to get.
I think, and also the disappointment you'll have after going to these prayer groups and all of these things, imagining a specific type of marriage in your head. And then, okay, you find a guy and all of that, but he's not, I would feel so betrayed. I'd be like, God, why?
Why did you put me through this?
What's going on? What's happening? I've done everything right, in quotations.
Yeah.
I've gone to the prayer groups. I've done the praying. I've done the all-nighters. I've done. I've gotten, and then what is this? What the hell is this?
You raise a very important point. I read something that says the church has become a space where women perform spiritual labor for marriage, right?
Yeah.
Which essentially is that, like, they're basically saying that women are conditioned to pray and fast and to, submit to a husband that they haven't even met yet. They're like, yes, I'll do this for my husband, Proverbs 31, da 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 da. But then also, are the men laboring spiritually as well? Or it's just a burden that's placed on us women? 6.
Right.
Are you praying? Are you also going for vigils to pray for your future wife? Are you also, like, I don't know, like, what's happening in the space that men occupy?
I think, to be fair, a lot of men aren't. They're not doing all that. In fact, while you're talking, I was thinking about one of the biggest religious sects in Zimbabwe is Mapostori, right? And in their system, it's very male-centered in a way, right? Because the guys get to marry
Babies?
Exactly. They get to marry a lot of women, first of all, and also children.
A lot of children.
That's the unfortunate thing. And when you talk to those people, it's like, for them, it's like perfectly normal. And with Mapostori, it's like, it doesn't matter socioeconomic, because rich people are also part of Mapostori. And you've got people on the opposite end also part of Mapostori. I think in general, a lot of religions tend to favor guys in general. Like, I don't think guys have to put as much effort, unless it's like, it's a very small percentage, I think, who are like intentionally, because you never hear like prayer camps where guys are going to fast for their wives or something like that. It barely happens.
Can I tell you something funny that happened at my workplace? So because my workplace is predominantly women, right? And very little are married. If actually at the time, none of us were married. So I don't know who came up with this idea. Because they're like, no, vasikana vepano havasati varorwa. Let's, we need to pray about it. So
At work, sorry. At work?
yes. I didn't, I only found out about it the day before it was supposed to happen, right? So it was like, oh, Chido, did you hear that? We're fasting tomorrow for marriages for the girls in the workplace. So I was like, yo, you guys didn't tell me this arrangement in advance. I've already planned my lunchbox for tomorrow. I'm eating. I am eating and I'm eating good. This is not to say that I'm not, a prayerful person or that. But guys, I had planned my lunchbox. And also, you told me tomorrow we're praying and fasting, and we're gonna go to the park and pray. Legit. People during lunchtime.
Greenwood. Oh, sorry.
But yes, people went to the park and prayed.
Okay.
For marriage. So it is a thing. It just occurred to me because I had forgotten that this had happened because I didn't participate in it.
You didn't go.
I didn't go.
Can I actually tell you something? She just said something really funny that back to you must read the Bible for yourself. You know how we throw around the Proverbs 31 woman as if and we always say we want to be the Proverbs 31 woman. I just thought, let me read you a little bit of what she actually does. All right. Because, yes. So a wife of noble character who can find, she is far more than rubies. Her husband has full confidence in her and lacks nothing of value. That's the part we like, right? But then it says, she works with eager hands. She is like the merchant ships bringing her food from afar. She gets up while it is still night. She provides food for her family and portions for her female servants. She considers a field and buys it. Out of her earnings, she plants a vineyard. She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks. She sees that her trading is profitable and her lamp does not go out at night, right? I'm going to skip down a few. So now she's providing. She's provided for her family. On top of that, she makes covering for her bed. She is clothed in linen and purple.
So she makes duvets.
Yes. Yes. She makes linen garments and sells them and supplies the merchants with sashes. Right. This is what it says about her husband. Her husband is respected at the city. Her husband praises her. Her husband sits with elders. That's all it says about her husband. So you come and you cry and you say, dear God, make me into the Proverbs 31 woman. Right? Oh, I want to be. And he does.
At the same time, you want to be a soft girl.
Exactly. And at the same time, you want to be the soft girl whose husband does everything. So even your prayer is conflicting. So now when God answers your prayer, you are now mad, and you're big mad because he's given you exactly what you asked for, and now you're thinking you got trapped. Because you're turning around and saying, but my husband's supposed to be the provider. You said you wanted to be Proverbs 31. You do it. You are the provider.
You make the duvet.
And you nurture. You nurture the kids. Her children arise and they call her blessed. Know what you're praying. And read it for yourself. Yeah. Otherwise, you will think God is tricking you when it is you who's asked God for exactly what you've got.
And that's it. You nailed it in the beginning. You've said it again. Think for yourself.
And go
Have a
read your
direct
Bible.
relationship.
So I was thinking about this unfortunate tragedy that just happened, the Indian flight, and how one person survived. And then there was this tweet which went like, if you don't have faith, look at the fact that one person survived. And a lot of people were like, that's a very strange statement, because what about the other 230 people who died?
1,000 may fall at your side. 10,000 at your right hand.
You know, so it's like, what do you guys feel about that? Like,
was it right for
like
when
that
you tweeted that?
yeah, because that comment pretty much became like a whole discourse. So it's like,
Unfortunately, I agree with that comment in a sense. I think the timing was wrong, but it is true in a sense, because from what I understand, God chooses who he chooses, right? And what I mean by that is there were Solomons in the Bible, but equally there were also widowed name or whatever, like poor people, and they were also rich people. I think God is still the same, right? Much as it sounds counterintuitive, but I think the fact that God saved this one person but allowed the others to die, it doesn't remove from the fact that he's God, right? He's sovereign in that sense. Like, if it was these people's time to go, then that's that. And if it was this person was not meant to die, and that was God's plan. So bad things happen for us to be able to see God's goodness and God's greatness, as it were. But it seems so counterintuitive to the human mind to think, wait, if you're so great, God, then why would you allow bad things to happen to your people? But then I think even when we just look at the Bible, that's exactly how God showed his sovereignty, his greatness, through bad things happening to good people, and then bringing that one person, or like Lot leaving whatever, the whole city to burn, but him and his wife, well, actually
Just
him
him.
and his kids,
him and his kids.
then escaping that, you know. So I just think that the timing was off, but the message is still correct, although it was just ill-timed, I think.
yeah.
Anyway, so closing question. Would any of you guys, the ones who are not married, obviously, you have already entered the secret society. So, quick question. Would anyone go to those all-night marriage vigils? Anis?
Oh, sorry, I was shaking my head. No.
Kuda?
No, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't, not for the obvious fact of like,
let's hear why you
I wouldn't go because it's, I don't know, I don't think it's a bad thing to do. Quite honestly, I think all night prayers are wonderful, right? In general, doesn't matter what you're praying for. I just would not go because I don't know the spirits of the people that are there, the heart posture of the people that are there. And it's great to say where two or more gathered there, I shall be also. But it also says where two or more gathered in my name, there I shall be. Now, if you are just here to just be here, then I should have gone to bed.
And also if they're gathered in the name of Papa.
Exactly. Then, I should have, because now if God is going to say strike down, And here I am. I could be the one person who remains. But why am I putting myself in that situation in the first place, right? I do think people should gather. I do think people should fast and they should pray for their marriages, honestly, because what is out there is ridiculous. And you need to make sure you have a discerning spirit so that you pick the right person. But it's the way that it's being done and being conducted. I don't want also to come back home having carried your spirits with me. I don't need that. Sorry, thank you.
I think mine is more not necessarily the spirits, but I don't want to be in a space of sorry guys, but I don't want to be in a space of desperation. I'm at home, I'm praying for my husband, I'm praying for my future family, I'm praying for my present family, whatever. I don't want to be in a space where people are so desperate for something that is so worldly. I'm sorry, I can't. That's why I said no, because I can't be in spaces where we're all saying, this year you will find a husband. This year you will find a man. No, I feel like that's for God to know. He knows which year that will happen for me. It's not for me. It's not for me to be like, yes, this year, at the end of this year, I'll find a husband. Because I feel like it also then, when you pray for something so badly, firstly, obviously, you'll be disappointed when it doesn't happen. But it's also a lot of energy for something that it's not, you can't determine it.
Yeah.
I can pray for my job. I can pray for a better job. I can pray and then I can go for interviews, right? Do you get? But to pray for a husband in Harare, I think that
we're waters of Harare.
I think it then fuels more desperation. So you've prayed for that thing, and then you're like, okay, what are the actions I need to do? Go on dates, meet people, what, and the like. And then you're like, will it really happen this year? So yeah, that's why I said no.
Faith the size of a mustard seed.
Yes,
It will happen this year.
the mustard seed is happening at home, guys. It's happening in my prayers, but not with other women.
6, would you?
I think first of all, the all night part of it, it's a big ask.
But you can go all night for cups that are small.
Hey,
For cups that are small, you go out.
The age says
The age is like, because like even the concept, all this time you're talking, I was just thinking all night, like 6 a.m. I'm there. I'm like, okay, but jokes aside, I think I'm definitely more of a advocate for just personal relationship with God. I'm still obviously trying to figure out also my Christian path. So I think, yeah, it would be more of like, and just from a guy's perspective, like, I don't think like, even just the concept of me going and there's a bunch of guys and praying for wives, it just feels like, yeah.
Maybe Shaddai needs to organize along those lines.
Shaddai failed to do this men's getaway thing, so all night might be heavy drifting for him.
Mrs. Moy? I like what Anesu said, and I think it comes down to protecting your space. I don't think it's good to be in a place where you're being told that you're lacking or you need something, like just in general. But as a concept, it's good for you to pray and to fast. But I think it's very important what your motivation is behind it, because if you're really building a relationship with God, it's more about opening yourself up to receive what He has planned for you, which is probably more than anything you could ever ask, which is what the Bible says. So as long as you keep on going back to scripture and allowing yourself to connect in a genuine way, then it's good. But you have to be careful not to allow yourself to jump into something that you don't fully understand or even know that you want. So yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys all said some very beautiful things.
And did you answer the question?
What's the question?
Would you go? Oh, she already didn't go.
Oh, right.
No, but I think again, as you were all saying, like I'm not trying to approach it from I'm desperate. Oh my gosh, I'm at this specific age and I'm not married or whatever. I don't think that's what this should be about. I think it should just be creating a relationship with God, and also it's a good thing, to pray and fast for your future husband, your future wife. I don't think there's anything, it's not embarrassing to do that. I think it's a good thing to do. And I think that we should stop putting pressure on women to be the spiritual laborers of this. That like women are the ones who should pray for the husband. I think it should be a two-way street. Equally, men out there should be praying for their wives too.
Hallelujah.
Can I interject there?
Yes, please.
I feel like again, what could have said, guys, you're not reading your Bible, because at the end of the day, your husband is supposed to be the high priest of your household. He should lead you. You support the prayers. He should be the papa.
So 6 the law. You better pray all night.
Yo. It looks that way.
All right, thank you for listening.
Bye.
Let us know what you think in the comments. Please engage with us. We'd love to hear your thoughts.